don't think that the lesson of this movie is to go out and be a suicide bomber and to take revenge. I think it is a fantasy that, look, I'll tell you a story. And I'm not even saying this, but in this way, I feel the same way. When I was young, I played these paintball games. We shooted each other with paintballs. And my mother was very upset at me. Because, we're all very pro-peace and peaceful. And how could I go out and do this? And I said, well, Mom, it's a game. And yeah, it can get a little rough, but it's a game. And I feel it's the same thing in the sense that it was, it's a way to sort of let that exercise that energy, and then walk in life and be a safe, law-abiding citizen. And I think, in a sense, the feelings that one has, this, to your point, is not to go out and be evil or to kill you. It's to sort of watch it and allow yourself to go through those feelings, so that it's and acknowledge that part of you, and then, as you said, probably much better than me, then go out and live your life in a more sane, humanistic way.
Could I put in? This is the Oedipus complex in reverse. I think a question which was not addressed is, why has this movie had such huge appeal, not only among Jews, but beyond Jews? And we as Jews think of ourselves as Jews, but also part of something which is universal in the world. And there is something that this film struck. There must be an enormous number of people out there in the world who have been very badly damaged, who need a feeling of revenge in order expressed for them.
In their personal lives and in their national life, and we really do have enemies. And there are Americans killed in this movie, and it's easy to identify with the GIs who are dying there as a result of this young German soldier's sniper's nest. I think that I too would resist simple lessons, but when I first had this conversation with Erwin Kula, and then read Jack's sermon, and then saw the movie, and now I'm seeing the movie for the second time, I feel very strongly that we can't stop using the word God just because people use the word God to do horrible, horrible things in the world. We have to, as it were, raise up the name of God from the dust and associate God with acts of mercy and justice, to redeem God, to sanctify God's name from the profanation that's done to it when awful people do awful things in the name of God. And similarly, we can't stop using the word evil just because the word evil is debased by people who use it very cheaply and trivialize it and attach it to things. One of the lessons, I think, one of the profound lessons of our tradition is there is good with a capital G and there is evil with a capital E, and we have to discern it, and we have to be careful about attaching that label to things. We have to be able to tell the difference, and more importantly, we have to know that it rarely is black and white. It rarely is good with a capital G, and it rarely is evil with a capital E, and we have to be aware of attaching the good to ourselves and the evil to the person who disagrees with us. This is basic stuff in Jewish tradition. And in order to do that well, I think that our tradition requires an enormous amount of restraint and self-awareness. An enormous amount of restraint and self-awareness. So you have to be self-aware enough, aware of yourself, to be suspicious of your motivations, which are not always good, and to get a handle on the best you can in order to really do good in the world, because if you don't have a handle on that part of yourself, you're not going to be able to do good in the world. And I find the movie as a kind of call to attention. I don't think he set it up to do that. I'm not attributing this motive to the director or the producer, but to me, it kind of is a call to attention that, as the rabbi said, we're living in a time when Jews have enormous influence and power in this world right now. And sometimes I think that enough with the victimhood. We were victims, and we have been victims, and sometimes we still are victims, but the more important role that we play in the world right now is not one of victim, but one of agency. We have enormous agency in the world today, and in order to exercise that agency effectively, we've got to be in touch with all this other stuff in ourselves so we don't let it get the better of us.
Right on, right on.
I want to thank you all.